and enjoying each other's company, it doesn't matter, does it? I am so pleased to see all of you here today. Harrisville City has been waiting for something like this for a long time, and we have felt the community's support and love, and really wanted to do something to show that we appreciate all of you today. And thank you for coming to our groundbreaking. We're in the spot where the building is going to be. So this is our road and going on into Highway 89, and so the front of the building is going to face us. So we feel like we're right invested in where we're going to be right now. So just a few words of welcome. Representative Moore is right here on the front. We appreciate him. I don't know if you know the story. Back in, I've met him a couple of times. Back in February, actually on my birthday, I met him in his office in DC. I was there with the CTC. We had a great conversation. He's very engaging, very concerned about us, and he gave us a chance to ask questions, and I asked what he could do for our city. And he said, meet with my staff. So we exchanged information. Within a month, I had information that he could give us, have this project be for the Appropriations Committee. And so when we got that word, our city dropped everything. Our staff worked so hard. Public Works, I'm going to shout out to Glenn Gamble. He put this all together. And what my assignment was is to get letters of support from the community. So that's where you all came in. So I got letters of support from our Weber County commissioners. They just, within a day, let me tell you, within a day I sent this out and asked people. So commissioners sent us a letter of support for this project. Representative Ryan Wilcox back here, he's been supportive. I met him last year. He came and met with City Administrator Jenny and I, and he stayed for 2 hours wanting to know the concerns of our city. Thank you, Representative Wilcox, for being here today and for your support for our city. Appreciate you. We have Representative Matt Gwynn and Senator John Johnson in our community. They're not here today, but their support is immeasurable too. We have Mayor Leonard Call, right here in the center, and his city administrator, Amy Mabey. They're great neighbors up to the north and east. They provided support in letters and just anything that we can do to be community members that, I mean, what they do affects us, what we do affects them, and this road through here will help them. And so their letters of support were invaluable to us too. We have Mayor Berube. Where did you go? You're right back in the back. He's from North Ogden, and he has always been a great neighbor. North Ogden is up against the hill, that beautiful backdrop that he provided for us today. So thank you for being here. He has letter of support also. We have Northview Fire right here in the back. Chief David Wade, Chief Jeremiah Jones. Sorry. How does that come out? Does that happen a lot? Okay. And Fire Marshal Ryan Barker. They are really working with us on our next project. So we're doing the public works, and we are continuing to look forward to other projects, our city building, our city administration, our police department, and perhaps, and this is just a perhaps, Northview Fire will be working with us. So we're looking with that, and they are always great neighbors, and we appreciate their service. So I'm going to backtrack a little bit. This just didn't happen in a day. We have been talking about this for years, but more specifically, when we thought this could happen over a year ago, we decided, okay, we can really do this. And we sent out an RFP for an architect. And I believe we were blessed, divinely guided, or whatever, by Kevin Blaylock here. His architect company has listened to us. We've met monthly. They listen to what our needs are. Our wants also, and then he kind of brings us down and says you can't have that, but he shows us things that we can do, and it's better than we could ever imagine. And thank you, Kevin, appreciate that. Along with that, we had, and you can see their logos up here, but along with that we brought in the CERC construction, and that is Ryan Hunter, Steve Hughes, and Rich Ainscoff. And thank you guys, because bringing them in at the same time we're developing the building, they can tell us what our costs are, what we need to do to make sure we're using our money for the best building that we can. They have been so helpful. They show us exactly where we are in the timeline. And we're getting close. This groundbreaking today is not just ceremonial. We're getting very close. So thank you for them for doing that. So back to today again, when we were getting these letters of support, I actually reached out to a couple of women that work for the county. I don't think they're here today, Stephanie Russell and Melissa Freeging. They have been instrumental in teaching us and educating us and helping us to understand what we can do as a city, and we thank them. Cliff Hokinson's here with his daughter from HHI. Where are you, Cliff? I lost you. Right there. They are right here on the corner. They've taken the old brickyard. And an interesting thing about Cliff is that when I first became mayor, I asked Jenny Knight to set up some meetings with businesses in the community, and he graciously accepted. And that meeting has been the start of a great relationship between HHI and the city, and they've been to a few meetings with us in developing this area, and they are very instrumental. So thank you for your support. Without, I'm not going to, I don't know, Matt, am I going to embarrass you? Matt is our city engineer, Matt Robertson. He works with Jones and Associates. He has roots in Harrisville, so he's very concerned. Was it your grandfather that was the first mayor? Okay, so yes, he cares deeply about what happens here. So thank you, Matt. He's always on call and always doing it. All right. Down to our staff. Jenny Knight is our city administrator. She's right here. She takes care of me in the best way. Her staff, I could name them all, but all you have to do is ask them for something and it's done. I can't even believe the things we were able to accomplish, and they're wonderful. Our public works director, Justin Shinsel, is somewhere. Right here on the front. Sorry. Individually, I can see you, but collectively, it's hard. Justin Shinsel and his staff put this all together. This was a mud field just a couple of months ago. This was a swamp. When he was saying we'd do it over here, I didn't understand. But this is the kind of quality work that our public works department does. So thank you. We're going forward with this. Police Chief Mark Wilson, right there. Thank you for being here. His support, you can see his officers here. I will put our police force up against any in the nation, and I really believe they're well-trained, well-qualified, and I feel so grateful that they have not only my back, but the back of the community. I appreciate them so much. Our Parks and Recreation Director, Brian Fife over here, and his crew, we are known in Weber County for the best parks overall. We have beautiful parks, and I can't wait to see what you're going to do with recreation and parks around here as far as developing the beautiful area here. We have our council members, Blair Christensen, right here, Max Jackson, Kenny Loveland. You raise your hands, you guys. Steve Weiss, and Grover Williamson. These men have had to make difficult decisions in the last few years. It's not easy when you get feedback from the community and the vocal ones are usually not positive. But these men have done what's right for the city, regardless of emotions, and that's hard to do. So kudos to them. We also have our planning commissioners, Chad Holbrook, raise your hand. Bill Smith is not here. Nathan Averill is here. We have Brendan Nelson, Brad Elmer, and our newest, Jordan Reed. So these projects go through them. They have to look at them, decide if this is a viable part of the city, and they are great. We also have one thing that I neglected to add. We don't contract with sheriffs in Weber County, but we have a great relationship with them, and they were also supportive in giving us a letter of recommendation to be able to forward onto Lakemore's office. And this has come to fruition, and here we are today, and I really want to thank you all for your support, and we are looking forward to many more projects because we know we have support. We will be fiscally responsible. We will take care of the things that we need to. But I really want to, I don't even know if I can say the gratitude I have, because I'm just a country girl, and here I am in front of you, and I just know that I can feel your love and support, and I appreciate it. And again, thank you for being here today.
welcome everybody. Thanks for coming out and supporting what we are so excited to have as our new Public Works facility. Just a quick couple thank yous also to Representative Moore and all of his staff and the help of what they've helped us get the appropriations funding grant route. Also city staff, mayor, council, everybody that's just worked their tail off to help us make this a reality and a dream. A little bit about why we need this. Our shop is on Washington Boulevard. It's less than an acre of property. Our city's outgrown and we're about ready to double in our size as far as residency, with some big development projects going on, such as the golf course and another development project out on Washington Boulevard. So our current facility is probably a quarter of this size, and it's just going to be so good for us to be more centrally located within the city, to help our residents to get out and be able to snowplow and clear the roads and have plenty of storage for salt, plenty for safety and security. We had a mishap this winter where we didn't have great security at our current facility and had some theft and vandalism. So we're looking forward to getting that cleaned up and just being the pride and joy of the city for our residents and our community, to help serve them better and keep them safe and taken care of. Also, I just want to say a quick thank you to all the team that helped us get this to the point it is right now. Blaylock and Associates, Cirque, Jones and Associates, countless phone calls, emails, meetings. They've given us so many options to look at and to better have the best facility that we can have, so that we can keep our equipment as nice and maintained as we can for the longevity and being fiscally responsible for what we can do to help our residents and tax base. Again, thank you all for coming out, and we're super excited, and I'll turn the time over to Representative Moore for a few remarks, and then we'll move on with our program.
That's a very long walk all the way up here. Now you're very far away. I'm thrilled to be here. I also want to thank you for making me feel so welcome. You mentioned that this is a swamp, and given the fact that's where I work mostly, in Washington, D.C. swamp, you guys really went out of your way to make me feel welcome, so I very much appreciate it. So I came from 8 years prior to this job, and this role in Congress, from a management consulting firm. It's a company. If you've ever heard of like a company like Bain Consulting, McKinsey, or Boston, like they're very big management consulting firms that do a lot of strategy work for their clients. We were a boutique version of that, kind of small, nimble, and it was some of the most fulfilling work that I'd ever done in my professional life. Right, I had one of the coolest careers when I started. Working in the intelligence world in that space, and then I went into this consulting role back here in Utah. And for 8 years, I got to advise clients and companies on ways they could improve, areas that they could change, and they would take our recommendations, and then the next few weeks they would implement it. One time we recommended to a company, an online education company that did a lot of nursing programs, actually, you are going in the wrong direction. You should not invest so much in this because that market share is already yada, yada, yada. And I went back and had lunch with the client about 3 months later, and he goes, you saved us so much money. We went a different direction, and we actually used our online to augment our ground campuses. And like that type of satisfaction that you get from a professional world is sometimes few and far between. Imagine going from that to Congress, where you deal with gridlock, you deal with partisan nonsense all the time, you deal with complete inefficiency, to then but to having that to be your core of who you are in this productive element to go into this new world that is exactly as I expected it in some ways, but it still is very frustrating. One of the very first meetings that I had was with a group of outdoor retailers, or outdoor activities group. They ran river runs, and there is a weird clause that exists for some outdoor recreation that doesn't exist for particularly running a river, and it has to do with like overtime pay. Now, all of my buddies that would ever go and do river runs in the summer in college, they did it because they wanted to be in the great outdoors. They loved river rafting. They weren't really doing it for the money in the first place, but the labor laws won't give them exemption about anything related to the 40-hour work week. Well, if you're going on a 7-day Colorado river run, you reach 40 hours by like day 2.5, right? Like, so it's clearly a discrepancy between the way that labor laws were implemented. And so some outdoor recreation have had an exemption, and we just wanted to get this particular industry exempted as well. Very simple. Everybody agrees with it. Nobody's really against this. And I go, this will be great. I will go get this done. And the individual that had been around for a while pulled me aside. He goes, you're leaving Cicero, this management consulting company. I know that company. I know how well you guys work. I know how efficient you are. And you're going to the federal government. I just caution you in your next meeting, just don't be so confident you can get it done so quickly. And that's the world that I live in. This is why I love these types of projects. These are your tax dollars that we get to be, that we're over. And we have a responsibility through Article 1 of the Constitution to find areas that are the most effective and the best use, because we have a very, very good problem here in the state of Utah, and particularly in Weber County and other communities around here, of growth. We have a strong economic, and all the economic indicators are extremely strong here. We have job growth, and it continues to come. Those are all good things, but in order for us to do that, we need some of the best minds working on this, particularly at the local level, to make these types of projects happen. My job is to make sure that the mayors know that these opportunities exist, and to be a team that has a strong culture in finding ways to make this work. This has given me an opportunity to be productive in a very unproductive world. And so to be here today these are the highlights for me. And we're not there yet. We have a lot more work to do, and this is going to be a tumultuous budgeting season. I sit on 2 really important committees, particularly relating to all of our debt and deficit at the federal level. And we'll be navigating this as we go. But this is a process that these are clearly the right areas to put these resources, and we will be fighting for everything that we possibly can. For you all to put in such a great application, it's so helpful for us. On about 2 months, maybe a month before I started, after I had set up my DC team and we were about to be sworn in, I had said, look, there's something that I really feel like I want to do, and I don't know what kind of time we'll have, but I want to implement a quarterly call with mayors. In my interactions running for Congress, as I worked with various elected leaders throughout the state and in our cities and counties, I was just so amazed at the type of caliber of people we had in our mayoral elected positions. I asked them to come to my town halls and introduce me, because you are the closest to the people that exist in your communities. Potholes don't represent any particular political affiliation. Public works programs don't represent any particular affiliation. And seeing what Mayor Tait and so many others, and we've done projects from Manila to Manaway, right? And Manila out in Daggett County is no longer part of the 1st District, but we have had a chance to do all these different projects from Morgan County to Cache, all throughout Weber and Davis County. They've been those moments of actual productivity that I can have in a pretty otherwise tough world, and I just appreciate the opportunity for you to give us a chance to work on it. So I'm sincere about that. I love working with all of the mayors and city councils from across the 1st District. They're individuals that truly care more than anybody else about their individual communities, and they've usually poured blood, sweat, and tears into it, just as I was talking to Leonard about the time that they've spent in working in this. And if we as an office can just find a way to help solve a few problems, then I really feel like we're doing our job. And we'll continue to do that. And my commitment to making this project happen is firm, and we'll keep over communicating every step of the way. So thank you again for letting us be here and for letting us be a part of it. Appreciate it.
That is a long walk, right? All right, we're going on to the next part of our program, which is to do the actual groundbreaking. So thankfully, we don't have to actually dig into this hard ground. Justin has created this. So there are a few people that I would like to participate in this. When I call your name, if you'll go over here, get a shovel, a hard hat, a vest too, I believe. So Representative Moore, would you go over there? Jenny, Mark, Brian, Blair, Steve, Grover, Max, and Kenny from the council, Matt Robertson, Kevin Blaylock, Steve Hughes, right? And Ryan Wilcox. You back there still?
Yep.
There you are. All right. And then when you get that, would you please come up here?
Stiff here with the jacket. Looks like I work for you, Doc. No, I'm not around the trouble. So is this like the green screen, or you know, make it sort of better? Yeah. You gotta finance. The first step. We can take these home, right? If you would like, you can mess with them. I'll take Hey, what's up, Jack?
How's it going, Ryan?
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
You work at Harrisville?
Yep.
Oh, cool. Good to see you, man.
It's good to see you too.
They're like, could you chill next time?
Let me say a prayer.